Okay, today I'm going to show you the work I did for customizing a little pullip at Lan Aki. Yeah. And obviously I've taken her eyes out, and the way you take their head off is in the back, and there's a screw hole. It's just a little screw. And a little Phillips head will do it. And once the screw comes out, you can take it apart, and there are other videos for how to get the eyes out, which I will link to. But yeah, this was a girl, it's turning into a boy. As you can see, I have naked belly. This is the Obitsu 23cm boy body, and it is definitely worth getting the magnetic base for a little more. I got it at Mimiwoo, which I really like their stuff. And this is labeled white, but as you can see, it's more like, you know, average geek tan. I mean, he's about the same color as I am. He looks more white compared to me, but with the head, it is just about a perfect match. The head is a little bit pinker, I guess, yeah, but it's not bad. It's really close. I guess the normal skin Obitsus are really dark. But yeah, for those of you who haven't seen a little pullip, this is actually the scale that they end up at, and unfortunately this arrived broken. But since I was customizing, I didn't care. Okay, and when you get the little pullip, they're gonna have hair, and it's going to be glued on, but what you do is you take a little flathead screwdriver and you put it in right under the edge of the wig, and you just work it off very, very carefully. It's pretty hard glue, and it'll come off fairly easily once you get it done. And then you're going to have this junk on there, which you can take some sandpaper. A lot of people use like 800 to 1000 grit or whatever. 220 was the best I could find at Sears, which I could have gone somewhere else, but that was where I was that day, so, and I wanted to do it that day. And as you can see, it did smooth it down, which is what I really wanted. When it comes to the wig, this is the wig that I got for him, and it's a very short hair wig, and I noticed that without sanding, it was very, very hard to get it on him without it sticking. So I'm not putting the wig on yet because I'm waiting on his eyes still. But yeah, so that'll help you be able to get the wigs on better. And if you're ending up wanting to reattach this wig, well, then you can re-glue it. I've seen people do it with Elmer's glue, possibly even some poster putty, depending on how well you want it to stick on. I don't know. But of course, with this kind of wig, just like a ball jointed doll, it fits on really well. It's a size 4 or 5, and it's a Monique Johnny style in black. Very pretty wig. Even better than the pictures showed. Okay, so if you bought your body new, you should have a little baggie of hands and extra necks, and the little screw in the neck comes out. It's kind of like the one in the back of here. And what I did was I changed the default neck to this just plain cylinder one, which is much easier, because if you're stuck with that neck, you're probably gonna have to either cut inside of the doll's head more, or cut this down in order to look more like that. But since I don't have an electric sander thingy like some people do, I just used an X-Acto knife. And if you're gonna do this, make sure that the blade is on there really tight, because otherwise you might end up cutting yourself, which you don't want to do, especially when applying a bunch of pressure to plastic. Now inside the head, you can see that I have already cut it out because that was boring as hell and I'm sure you didn't want to watch that. But originally the plastic went straight from here to here. It was all flat between these two posts here. And obviously with that in the way, this is not going to go on at all. So what you do is you have a whole lot of patience, and you just keep cutting out the plastic little bit by little bit. Make sure you don't cut yourself. Make sure that these little pins stay. I mean, I guess the head fits okay without the little guide pins, because it is not like perfectly round in there. But I saved them and they're fine. And so yeah, you just make sure that you whittle enough away in there that your head fits like so, very nicely. Now what I noticed in the back was that these things where the little connector pins end up in, they end up in the way of the back of the neck. And I didn't want to have to make the neck hole any bigger, because I figured it was absolutely, probably perfect the way it was designed to be. So what I instead did was very carefully, I cut here, this part right here, and this part right here, so that there's a place for the, you know, the round dolly neck thing to go. It's not a very good size comparison, but there we go. And it fits in nicely, whereas before it was bumping up against the edge of those holder things. Okay, so let's put his head on and line up there, and then the fiddly part is making sure the pins line up inside. Come on, man, cooperate. You like your head. Okay, now if there's a crack here under the ear down into the neck hole, that means that something's still bumping on the inside. As you can see, I did not change anything about the outside neck hole. It was all internal work, as it is absolutely perfect without modification on the outside. So yeah, if you got a crack, go back in, work on it some more, see if those back pins are hitting on the back end of the inside of the neck. And yeah. And then we take his little screw and put it in. Like. And I've shown how to do the eyes in another video, so I will link that too. And here we go. It scales a lot more normal with the head on a big body, and the 23 centimeter one looks really nice. And that's it. The other thing I love about these bodies is how freaking posable they are. Poor guy just needs some eyes now. They finally shipped, so yay, they're coming. A little side note, I did remove the lip color from the doll because it's a boy and they were really bright. I ended up using Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to get most of it off, and then I actually used the tip of the X-Acto knife and very, very carefully got the rest of the color out, because you end up with a line. I don't know if there's a better way to do it. You have to be very careful that you don't actually cut the lips or chip them or anything, and it takes a while, but I did it. So those of you who are brave enough can try it, or look up some more customization tips from wherever. But I know it's hard to find the tips, so that's what I did. Bye!